White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. And we are coming to you from the desert, Chase Field in Phoenix, where tonight CSN Chicago presents White Sox baseball. It's RB Garcia, Todd Frazier, and our Sox as they get set to butt heads with Paul Goldschmidt and the tough Arizona Diamondbacks. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson, and welcome back, Stoney.
Thank you.
4 days off. He had the Seattle series off. But, you know, that was a good series. We lost the first one. We almost won the first one. Came back from a 4-0 deficit, won the last three. And Tim Anderson's starting to get it heated up.
There's a lot of the offense that's heating up lately, but none hotter than Tim Anderson, who over the last 9 is really starting to scald it. But the finale yesterday, and Anderson was 3 for 4. He hit a home run. He's been hitting the long ball a lot. He's hit 5 this year. And at 264, with the way he started, things are starting to heat up at the right time for Tim. Let's take a look over the last 7 games. 483 with 3 home runs, 5 driven in. He scored 7. The on-base percentage is ridiculous, and slugging percentage starting to really come alive. So Tim Anderson, as well as some of his mates, are doing it offensively. They had a big series in Seattle. Hopefully more of the same in the desert.
Well, Goldschmidt and Lamb swinging the bat pretty good for them.
Yeah, they got a twosome that are in the middle, and they can really get it done for the Diamondbacks, who lost A.J. Pollock. That was a big loss. But Paul Goldschmidt, over the last 9 games, well, he's hit 3 home runs. He's driven in 7. He scored 10. Jake Lamb, the left-handed counterpart in the middle of that lineup, hitting .429, 4 home runs, 13 driven in, along with the 7 walks. So he's got a good eye, and both of these guys in the middle make an offense that's in high gear right now. This team can score some runs. The question is, can Zach Greinke get it done?
Well, he's got an opponent, another right-hander for us.
Miguel Gonzalez going to the mound against their ace. Zach Greinke is one of the best in baseball, and we'll take a look over the last 3 starts. It's a tale of 2 different pitchers. Miguel has run into some tough luck. Zach Greinke has thrown it real well. One is 0-3, our guy. Their guy is 3-0. The ERAs, well, you can see as far as the innings and batting average against, Zach Greinke, one of the best around. He's 5-2 this year, but the last 3, he's starting to throw it, and that slider has really come alive, so they have to beware of that tonight.
All right, first of a 3-game set from Chase Field in Phoenix, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Welcome back to Chase Field in sunny and very warm Phoenix, Arizona. And the Diamondbacks playing good solid baseball, as are our Sox, winning 3 of 4 in Seattle. It should be a nice matchup here tonight. The Diamondbacks offense is in high gear. The Sox offense, at least against that Seattle pitching staff, was belting the ball around the diamond. So hopefully tonight, more of the same. And let's take a look at how Ricky Renteria is going to line up our Sox for the game tonight. As Todd Frazier and Baxter the Bobcat play a little Rochambeau. So let's take a look at the lineup for the first game of a 3-game series and the final series of this road trip. Yolmer is leading it off, hitting a robust .327. Then it's Melky Cabrera, Jose Abreu, Avisail Garcia, along with Todd Frazier, Leury Garcia, Tim Anderson, who we highlighted in the opening, along with Omar Narvaez and Miguel Gonzalez getting a chance to hit and hitting ninth tonight. The defense and how they're going to line up. Ray Fuentes starting in left field, and it's Gregor Blanco and David Peralta left to right in the outfield with Jake Lamb, Chris Owings, Daniel Descalso, Paul Goldschmidt around the infield. Jeff Mathis gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Zach Greinke. 5-2 this year. The ERA a touch over 3. 66 strikeouts and 58 in the third. Just 11 walks. He is getting it done, but he's given up 9 home runs. And with the roof open tonight, it's going to be very lively around the ballpark. The umpires for the game tonight: John Tempane behind the plate, the crew chief Ted Barrett at first, Angel Hernandez at second, and Lance Barksdale is at third. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, which means we're ready to play baseball, and that means I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
All right, Stoney, thank you very much. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on CSN Chicago. So happy you could join us. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. As here's the first pitch of the ball game to Yolmer Sanchez, taken for a strike. Yolmer comes in hitting at .327. A couple of homers, 13 knocked in. Greinke, 33 years old, 6'2", 200 pounds, out of Orlando. Always had that habit of hiding the ball pretty well, throwing that glove and that arm out there in front of it. All of a sudden,
what we're going to notice tonight is he's not throwing near as many straight changes. What he's done, because his slider is working so well and because his control has been letter perfect with it, he's thrown a lot more sliders than at any time during his career.
Gap out there in right center. And here at Chase Field, 330 down the left field line, 376 left center, 335 down the right field line, 376 in right center, 407 dead away center, and then in the deep corners, 413 both ways.
Good straight change, and he swings right through it.
Well, he's had that's actually been the pitch that got him all the money. That straight change.
And got him a bunch of it as you see him swing over the top. He was signed for $206.5 million, and unfortunately last year was very disappointing for him.
Well, I'll tell you, it's one of the craziest contracts I've ever seen in my life.
Especially for a guy over 30.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Here's Cabrera. I've seen Zach play since he was at Papaca High School, a Blue Darter down in Orlando, Florida.
Well, you told me that he probably could have been a major league shortstop.
There's no question about it. He's the greatest high school baseball player I've ever seen. And he wanted to be a shortstop, and Schultz said, no, we're going to pitch.
Well, paid him a whole lot of money. John, who's right about a whole lot of things, was right again.
Yes. Over John's career, it got to be a little monotonous, didn't it?
Yeah, he was right a lot.
Yes, he was. No, but Zach was, when he was in high school, really, it was like a man playing with children. He could hit the ball 450 when he was a senior. right, let's check out our picks to click tonight.
Can I get another choice?
And here we go. Fans took Anderson. Who's going with Ty? Steve's going with Melky. And Andrea Connell and Adam Dabrowski, our pilots last night and co-pilot, coming in. And two wonderful people. Had a great conversation with them, Andrea and Adam. As here is, and a great crew from United, as I talked about in Seattle. You can't travel any better than we do with that great crew we got. And the great people, Bernard Young and his crew at Atlantic Aviation. Abreu, 273, 8 homers, 23 driven in. That didn't take long. 1, 2, 3, and after half inning of play is our guys nothing. Their guys coming back.
It's Blanco, Peralta, and Goldschmidt at the top, with Lamb, Owings, and Descalso in the middle, followed by Fuentes, Mathis, and Zach Greinke hitting 9th. The defense. And now they're going to line up behind Miguel Gonzalez. Melky, Liuri, and Abisail in the outfield, with Todd Frazier, Tim Anderson, Yomer Sanchez, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Miguel Gonzalez, trying to interrupt a streak that has not been particularly good for him after the first 3 starts. This start number 9.
So here's Gregor Blanco, 33-year-old veteran outfielder, hitting at 207, no homers, 3 knocked in. Last year with San Francisco, hit 224 with a homer and 18 RBIs. D-backs come in hitting at 267 as a club. That's pretty good. 3.66 team ERA. They have been extremely difficult here at Chase Field. They are 18-8.
Well, the real bad break they got was when A.J. Pollock went on the disabled list. Once again, having some groin and maybe some hamstring difficulties.
Can't get him. Good try.
Wilbur did the best he could possibly do, and he knew that he couldn't steady himself to make the throw, so he slid into the ground ball. It's one thing to do this. It's another thing to be able to slide and get the ball over there as quickly as he did. And unfortunately, Blanco just about a half step too quick.
So here's Peralta. David hitting at 324, 4 homers, 11 driven in. Gap out there in right center.
Peralta was hurt last year, only played in 48 games. He can really hit right-hand pitching.
got the roof open.
That's going to make it a lot more lively.
And that's out of play left side.
What they did here, starting in the neighborhood of June 1st, that's what they're shooting for. You see, like a humidifier, just like they do in Colorado with the baseballs, trying to get them a little more moisture, which should ostensibly not make it quite as lively as the ballpark and give the pitcher something, because right now this is an extreme hitter's ballpark and the ball just flies, especially with the roof open.
He did. Yeah, with these low fences, I don't care too much about what the dimensions are. When you got low fences, that's a hitter's delight. That's the blue plate special for him.
Especially in the desert, where the ball seems to accelerate when it leaves the bat.
Well, it does.
A little bit more here than just about anywhere except for Colorado.
Same way on the golf courses here. The ball carries well. There he goes. Foul tipped.
One of the things that Torey Lovullo has got with this ball club is he's got speed. He uses it a lot. We're going to see it in this series. We're going to see them especially aggressive at second base. This Diamondback team will try to steal third base probably more than any other team in the league, and that's because of the man you're looking at, Torey Lovullo.
All right, take your time, boys. Back them up. 2 down. But, you know, a lot of stealing third base, all things being equal, is really a little easier than stealing second base. But especially who is playing second, who's playing third. Now, there are some guys, I remember, a couple of double play combinations out there that it was easy to steal third on because they played back and they, you know, and they weren't that aggressive. One of the best managers I've ever seen for deterring a stolen base at third, especially in a big part of the ball game, was Tony La Russa. He had his second baseman stand right on the bag.
It's pretty tough if a guy's in the neighborhood of the bag to get that really good lead off second, which is usually 4 or 5 steps bigger.
So Goldschmidt lines out, and that'll retire the side after 1 inning. No score.
The Great Escape. Whether it's pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, or more, escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape.
And talking about Dan Hayes, poof. Here he is. What's up, buddy? What you got for us?
Lots of information today. Carlos Rodon participated in a simulated game. It's the 4th time he's been off a mound, threw 60 pitches against White Sox minor leaguers here at Chase Field earlier this afternoon. Also in that game, Nate Jones and Jake Petrichka both threw an inning apiece. But as far as Rodon, he said that he feels really good right now, that he is coming along. He doesn't know what he is, when he's going to be back, but at the same time, he's in a every fifth day kind of mode right now. And Rick Hahn discussed that a little bit during pregame and said that's great. That's a point where we know he's going to spend the next couple weeks building endurance and strength.
First pitch, low throw, picked nicely by Goldschmidt. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rodon's talked about how frustrating this has been for him. You know, when he initially had this happen, he thought it was going to be somewhere that he came back around May 1st and was at the point of finishing up his rehab at that point. Obviously, he said it's May 22nd and we're still here. So he's done a lot of work over this period, but it's something that he knows he has to look at the big picture with, and he talked about that, about how listening to his body and making sure he was fine, because he'd love to go out and pitch and just go through it.
Well, you know yourself, Dan, you've talked to him as much as anybody, the fact that as far as baseball goes, he's type A. I mean, he wants to be out there. He wants to compete.
Yeah.
So for him, you're right. This has got to be really tough on him.
He said he's watched a lot of games on television. That's the only way he can feel like he's part of the team. He's glad to be back around the teammates. Jake Petrichka had the biggest smile on his face. Same thing. He's been off the mound twice now, and it took him a long time of being set down and just getting back to feeling good. And both of them have spent a considerable amount of time in Arizona here and feel like residents of the state.
Frazier, 2-1 to count. It comes in. 4 for 22 lifetime with a homer off Greinke. Well, the DL situation is to Steve and I and yourself, guys who follow the game every day, it's just gotten to be ridiculous. I mean, the deal is just unbelievable how many guys are going down.
And there's a lot of guys here that have been making progress. Like you said, Nate Jones today, that was his third bullpen session. He feels, I think he's the furthest along at this point. But you're right, and the fact that there's 5 guys on this staff that are currently on the disabled list, you know, here they are with the number 2 bullpen in the majors. Despite that, and they've done a good job of making up for it.
They've done a terrific job. I mean, when you lose Putnam and the other 2, Nate, I'll tell you, it's just been terrific what they've done out of that bullpen for our club.
Well, with the emergence of Canely, Anthony Swarzak, those guys have done a great job of picking up the slack for guys that went down. You remember last year when both Petrichka and Putnam went down, that was, you know, starting the descent of the bullpen. This year it hasn't been like that.
Yeah, Anthony Swarzak throwing 95 has been a big key, and Canely getting that command at 99. And we saw it last year, how much that came along towards the end, and it's been a different guy. But Jones definitely, also Zach Putnam will throw his bullpen side session tomorrow. So all 3 guys there in the bullpen have made some decent progress. And again, Jones sounds like he's the furthest along.
Well, last year when a couple of those guys went down, we were 23-10. And then what? Turn around and go 10-23 when it went down.
And you keep going.
Well, yeah, we didn't stop there.
No, it didn't stop at a 500 club. It slipped a little bit further than that.
We just can't exist today without, you know, and that's one reason Steve and I were talking earlier. Terry Francona's carrying 8 guys out there in that pen. And I'll tell you, that's why it's going to be so, as he gets him. Another 6 up, 6 down for Greinke. Thanks a lot, Danny.
All right, thanks for having me.
Okay, buddy. No score.
Farm, and we'd like to welcome all of our viewers watching on New Windsor Cable in New Windsor, Illinois.
Jake Lamb will lead it off. We've had one base runner in this game thus far, and he's erased on a double play. That was last inning.
Lamb is ideal behind Goldschmidt because you got to get Goldie some pitches, and Jake Lamb has more runs batted in than Goldie has. He's got 36 of them. So Lamb, who had a great first half last year, hit 20 home runs in the first half, only to see an all-star snub. Looking for more of the same this year.
First pitch strike from Miguel. Miguel 3-2 lifetime against the D-backs with a very fine 3.20 ERA. Gap in right center. Close pitch, didn't get it.
Infield playing him as a dead pull hitter. Outfield playing him as an opposite field hitter.
Lamb, 26 years old. There's a strike.
29 and 91 on the power numbers last year for Jake Lamb. And although he tailed off in the second half, it doesn't diminish those overall numbers.
Watch out. Souvenir left side.
This Diamondback team knows they've got to stay afloat until A.J. Pollock comes back. Because Pollock means so much to this team. He's one of the best defenders around. He was leading the major leagues in stolen bases when he went down. And with leg problems the last 3 years or so, it's been frustrating for him.
Get over there. Off the glove of Abreu.
See how it's scored as Jose moves to his right, and it goes E3.
As it should.
That's one you certainly would like to make. That's error number 6 for Jose.
So here's Chris Owens. Owens, 323, 5 homers, 24 knocked in. Good start for this young 25-year-old shortstop.
He can play just about anywhere. In fact, last year when Pollock went down, Owens played center field. He's got big speed and a lot of pop.
High in the center field, that is a can of corn. One out. And a reminder, Sox fans, celebrate a special birthday or anniversary or even host a business function in a Diamond Suite at a White Sox game. Now, Diamond Suite is going to accommodate groups from 10 to 100 guests, and single game packages include a great food menu, and it is good, as well as beverages and parking passes. So to get your tickets, visit whitesox.com/group. Descalso with Colorado last year, hit 264, 8 homers, knocked in 38. Takes first pitch strike.
You might remember him from his days with the Cardinals as he brought him to the major leagues. Another radical shift. Infield playing him as a pull hitter, outfield as an off-field hitter.
One to count with one out here in the bottom of the second. If you just tuned in, no score. First of 3.
And Lamb, for a big man, has decent speed. He's swiped 3 bags, been thrown out once. Diamondbacks have 45 steals. They've been gunned down only 11 times, so it's a very aggressive team.
Take the out at first. There you go. So 2 down.
thought for a moment about the force, then realizing that no chance going to his left. So although Lamb moves into scoring position, there are 2 outs.
So here's Ray Fuentes. He's a .243 career hitter in the major leagues. Still young at 26 as he takes first pitch strike. This is D-backs hitting at .267. Our Sox hitting at .248. They raised that average appreciably up at Safeco Field.
That whole starting rotation on the DL for the Mariners.
Well, you know, the thing about that series, though, is that they made some mistakes, and every time they made a mistake, we took advantage of it.
Which is a great sign.
It is a great sign. You got to be opportunistic.
And the fact that this team keeps coming back late, regardless of what the score is. They never lay back.
They will never pack it in a game. He gone. And they'll retire the side after 2, no score.
AWS, and we center on Tim Anderson, and a home run. Exit velocity not high, but enough. 98 miles an hour, 36-degree launch angle. Again, wasn't far, but it was far enough.
That ball looked like, when it left his bat, looked like just a major league pop-up. Just did not come down.
Thank heavens for day games. A little livelier in that ballpark in the daytime.
Yankees' first pitch did not go, says crew chief Ted Barrett. Yeah, Greinke quite an athlete. I was talking with Bob Brindley, very fine announcer for the D-backs, former manager, won a championship here over the Yankees. And I said, have you ever seen Greinke hit a golf ball? He said, no. He said, have you? I said, yeah, we played together. I said, he's in that 340, 350 range off the tee.
He must be loving the desert.
And so Bob, knowing his sense of humor, Bob said, did he talk to you any during a round? I said, not much.
Not much, that's right. All winter, I saw Zach Greinke as he worked out Salt River Fields. I saw him getting coffee in the morning. We actually had some pretty decent conversations. That's the slider he uses to right-handers. He's been painting the outside corner low and away with that slider to right-hand hitters all season long. Reminiscent of the year he went 19-3 with the Dodgers. That garnered him the Cy Young Award.
Yeah, Zach's not much of a talker.
No, but what he has adopted, amazingly enough, and not only on the fastball but on the slider and the changeup, he's been grunting because he's trying to get more on the slider. So he started grunting on that. You can almost hear him when he releases the ball, and even on the straight change he does it, which is somewhat unusual.
They've got a lot of pitchers grunted on every pitch.
He's adopted that.
Gap out there in right center. We've only got two guys in our lineup that have faced Greinke. That's Cabrera and Frazier. Fourth strikeout for Zach. And a reminder, if you ever wanted the chance to enjoy a picnic in the outfield of guaranteed rate
Catcher, number 38.
and meet the 2017 White Sox team members and talk to White Sox alumni, well, now is your chance to join us on Sunday, June 25th, for a picnic in the park. All proceeds benefit White Sox charities. To purchase tickets, visit WhiteSoxCharities.org. Omar takes the pitch that was off the plate, a ball, and it was called a strike. Greinke doesn't need that.
4 strikeouts, no walks, and he's going to be around the plate with just about everything.
Making 58 games over 500 in his career. And you can cancel a post-game show.
Omar probably waits back as well as any hitter we have on the ball club, and that's what he did on this breaking ball. He just waited back and took it right back up the middle. Nice job of keeping his hands back. You can have that front foot go forward. If your hands are back, you're going to make good contact, and that's what Omar did.
So now he's going to have to go over the signs again.
Well, if this isn't a bunt, there should be an investigation.
Yeah, Omar's very good, especially for a young guy, keeping his hands back. Now, on just that one pitch right there, we saw why Gonzalez is a pitcher.
You don't think the technique was real good? Well, between Lamb and Goldschmidt, it's going to be tough to move Narvaez along.
Well, and this is the case where you can't use the old phrase, don't let them take the bat out of your hand.
No, because as far as squaring around a bunt, then bringing the bat back and then taking a swing, that might be a little too much to ask.
Yeah, the old butcher boy's not in his arsenal.
No?
Well, good thing Gonzalez was running, because if he wasn't, they would have had a double play.
No, and Mathis did a nice job, because Mathis is gambling here. He knows the ball's going to spin back to him. Watch what happens. Comes out, he waits, the ball spins back to him. He knew that was going to happen, and then realizing that he had no play for the double play, he took the force out, and the added advantage of putting the pitcher at first base, especially an American League pitcher. that hasn't had a whole lot of experience doing that.
So here's Sanchez. That's what Greinke will do a lot. He's one thing about Zach. He is and always has been, with the exception of to AJ Pierzynski, he's always been a smart pitcher. AJ just wore him out, and the reason being, Zach was determined he was going to get AJ out with that changeup, and he kept throwing it, and AJ just kept hanging out ropes and ropes. AJ hit 375 against him in 56 at bats with 3 home runs, and they didn't like each other that much.
Well, I can understand where Greinke wouldn't like AJ if the guy's hitting 375 and he's hit 3 home runs. You have a tendency not to like them. But I guess it went back to Orlando growing up.
Yep. One and 2 the count with 2 down. You're in the top of the 3rd if you're just tuning in. Five strikeouts now for Greinke, and we'll go to the bottom of the 3rd, still no score.
Later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
And a reminder, the 2017 White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, home of low mortgage rates and the world's best digital mortgage. So get started now at rate.com.
So when all the rules changes, and there's a few, I got to run this by you, see what you think. It's a tremendous advantage for a National League team to play in an American League park and get the designated hitter. But a tremendous disadvantage, as we saw right there with Miguel Gonzalez, for an American League team coming to a National League ballpark and having to use their pitcher, which doesn't hit all year, and use him hitting in the 9th spot. Do you think, can you see the fact that you will have a choice, perhaps, to use a DH or not, and that way even things up for the American League team?
No.
It's going to stay exactly this way?
They're going to stay status quo. They're not going to lose that pay slot in the American League. Players are not going to do it.
I don't mean do away with the designated hitter.
Well, I'm saying, in my opinion, I hate to see Major League Baseball played by 2 different sets of rules.
Yeah. As do I.
And when they first brought it in, I thought it was pretty good because you're going to extend the shelf life of some stars, so to speak, that were aging and couldn't play in the field defensively anymore, like Killebrews and Orlando Cepedas,
David Ortiz.
Yeah. So, but No, they're not going to change anything in that respect, and I think it's sad. I really do. But they can't do anything about it. The Players Association is not going to allow it. Now, to your question, is he gone? Mathis. I would say that Rob Manfred is trying everything he can to speed up the game, number one. He's trying everything he can, as every commissioner has, is to improve it. I think they've made some bad choices, as sort of like the Posey rule and stuff like that. They can't take out guys at second base. I mean, because that's out of play. Greinke just 1 for 19, so evidently he has not been practicing his hit.
I'll tell you what happened with him. Last year, he took a really hard cut. This guy came in with a batting average like .217. He'd hit 6 home runs, drove in 17 over the course of his career. He could really hit, you know that.
Yeah.
But last year, when he hurt an oblique on a hard swing, he just decided this year just not to swing as hard. And it's reflected in that batting average, because when you have a major league pitcher with a batting average up over 200, he can hit. This guy can hit. But this year, it's been a different Greinke.
Well, usually, that's... You just explained it.
Yeah.
If he's got a bad oblique, it'd be crazy for him. Or the club not to tell him, hey, let's go over and take 3. Grab some bench.
Last year he lost 6 weeks with that oblique problem. He said that it was a hard swing, and this year he just decided he doesn't want to spend 6 weeks on the shelf. He's got a good team. He's off to a good start. He just as soon stay healthy and see it all the way through.
I'll tell you, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 guys, there's nobody in this ballpark in uniform who can hit it further than him. I mean, he can hit it a long way. I tell you, I saw him hit it in a popcorn one day when he was a senior. That ball was at least 450, probably closer to 460, 465. Those obliques just don't work very well. I played the last 6 years. I played with a bad oblique, and it's painful. I can tell you that it's really painful. There's no way a pitcher can pitch with it.
Not a chance, as Greinke found out. Took a good swing at that one. Unfortunately, fouled it back.
But treatment back in those days was a little different.
Yeah, rub a little sand on it and go get them. That was pretty much the treatment.
There you go.
And if you said I got a bad oblique, they go, what? You have what?
Two down. We'll bring up Gregor Blanco. That's the only hit for them. That was the leadoff infield single. Sanchez made a terrific effort, just couldn't quite get it. Frazier cut of the grass well off the line. Now comes in on the grass. There's first pitch strike. Big gap out there in right center. Like we were talking a while ago, did you get a chance to see any of the games from Seattle?
I did not.
Okay. Well, you saw that was a great sign, even though Seattle was coupled up to a degree. That's the secret to winning in Major League.
I saw some of the highlights.
Yeah, well, you know, you saw the mistakes they made, and we jumped all.
Well, that's a great attribute for a baseball team, because the other team is going to make mistakes. When you're going well, you take advantage of each and every one. When you're going poorly, they elude you. But that was a good series. Coming off that sweep in Anaheim and going up there, it's a very, very good series.
Well, the thing about the sweep in Anaheim, Steve, you were there. We played good baseball. We just got beat. They didn't quit. They kept coming, trying to come back in those games. But that was one time that, with our Sox, so we got swept in the series, and it didn't bother me because we played good baseball. That's baseball. You just got beat. We didn't beat ourselves. Here's the 1-2. And that'll retire the side. 1-2-3 inning. We're into the fourth, still no score.
Game on CSN Chicago. Head to csnchicago.com or download the NBC Sports app. Presented by State Farm.
Cabrera, Abreu, and Avi will face Greinke, 33-year-old veteran. Cabrera caught looking his first trip. You know, Steve, in my career in this game, I've been fortunate enough to have been around some great baseball people, you know, and back in the time zone, there was like a acknowledged to be from the consensus from all the people in baseball that you take guys like Gene Monk, you take guys like Paul Richards, like Alvin Dark. A lot of people put DeRocher in that category. Well, there's a guy sitting right between you and I right now that was in that category, and of course that's Joe Sparks. I mean, these guys who are acknowledged to know as much about the game as he's hustling, but he can't beat it. But I just love 6 strikeouts now for me. I just love to talk baseball with those guys, and I was fortunate enough to be on a team where our coaching staff was Jimmy Dykes, Gabby Hartnett, and Luke Appley. Now, how about that?
Some great players.
But Joe Sparks knows as much about baseball as anybody. And to sit down, which we don't have the opportunity to during the game, but sit down and talk to him about baseball, you always learn something. You always learn something.
What I like is the fact that he raised a son that understands a whole lot about hitting and baseball in general.
Oh, sure. There's breaking ball strike to Abreu. Not many guys in that club, not many guys in that group, so to speak, acknowledged to be the guys who know the game. In fact, that's a pretty good title for a book.
The guys who know the game?
Guys who know the game. And every one of those guys is a tough guy. You can't know the game unless you're a tough guy.
Well, don't stop after the first book. Just continue and write that second one. The guys who know the game.
Greinke's just making him look easy, and he's not. You know, he's not overpowering. You know, it's like If you're sitting in the dugout watching this thing going on, you want to grab a bat.
Well, you said something early about him that helps his effectiveness, and that is, unlike so many guys with maybe better stuff than he has, he hides the ball.
Exactly.
So the hitter doesn't pick it up right away. And if the hitter can't pick it up maybe 3 feet, 4 feet further than a normal pitcher, Greinke has a tremendous advantage. They're not picking up his slider right now. Nobody's come close to it.
Not even close.
Nope.
They're not even come close to picking up his slider. So here is Avi. He's going to pitch inside like that to the fastball right there. But he's just going to show it to you. He's not coming in there for a strike. He's just going to show it to you.
On the first pitch, you don't really have to go in there for a strike because you give the hitter an advantage. Now, by getting in his mind that he'll go in there off the plate, it opens up the outside part of the plate for him.
That wasn't a strike, but he chased it anyway.
He's getting really good movement on the two-seam fastball, which bears inside to the right-hand hitter.
He's always had good movement on that two-seam.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But again, I think it's sign him for $200 million beyond me. He's going to chase it. He's going to stay in there.
No reason to do anything else.
No.
All 3 pitches right around knee high, all well off the plate inside. The closest pitch probably missed by 3 inches. The other 2 missed 4 and 5 inches. And there's an excellent hairstyle. Now time for the Mini Countryman player profile, and we'll profile the man you're looking at, Zach Greinke. 2009 AL Cy Young Award winner, 3-time Major League All-Star, 3-time Rawlings Gold Glove winner, 160 career wins, the ERA terrific, and only 16 complete games, which is somewhat remarkable for the skills he has.
For $200 million.
Yep.
That ball hit hard right at him. Dadgummit. That is a hang wolfing for Avi. Meanwhile, we'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Still no score.
On CSN as Chicago Fire hope to continue their winning ways when they host FC Dallas. Coverage begins at 7 on CSN with Chicago Fire pregame live.
So here's Peralta. Hit into a 1-6-3 double play. Hit the ball sharply, but a one hopper right back to Miguel. First of 3 here in Phoenix. And this is the 8th game of this 10-game road trip long. And I remember in Wimpy, one of the games, first or second game, we were up here in Seattle, we were talking, like you and I just touched on inning ago. And I said, Wimpy said something, and I said, well, Wimpy, that getting swept in Anaheim really didn't bother me much. I said, I know, because of the fact we didn't beat ourselves. We just got beat. That's baseball. I mean, you got to understand, that's baseball. So I got a couple of texts after that. Hawk, it's got to bother you when you get swept. It does not. No, it doesn't. If you play good baseball and you just get beat, that's the game. You're going to win 60. You're going to lose 60. It's what you do to the other 42 to count. And the 42 are games that you get mostly beat yourself in. And we hadn't had many of those.
No, this team has battled and stayed in just about each and every game.
I was talking to Dave Magadan, their hitting coach, before the game, who's a good hitting coach. Been around a long time. Good hitter himself. For a big guy, though, he was more of a punching, single, double.
He was a contact hitter.
Yeah, contact.
Couldn't hit the ball apart.
No. And I asked him, because I don't know Goldschmidt. I've seen him a couple games of spring training and all that stuff. I said, Dave, is he the real deal? He goes, Hawk. He said, you were just talking about how your guys bust their behinds down the line. He said, that's Goldschmidt. He said he is a leader of this ball club. He does everything the way it's supposed to be done. As you look at Dave, Lou Piniello's cousin, by the way. And he said he is a joy to be around and to watch.
Well, you can also factor in a Gold Glove caliber first baseman.
Ball was not hit hard. His muscles are not there. So that's just the second hit given up by Miguel.
Goldschmidt is a very quiet guy. He's almost the kind of leader that Paul Konerko was, in that if you're looking for a vocal leader, he's not the guy. If you're looking for a great player, he is the guy. And he probably would get even more acclaimed if it wasn't for playing in the desert. I mean, that's just kind of with where they are time-wise, and the fact that Arizona doesn't get the kind of media exposure that most teams get.
No, they do not.
And Goldie's just a terrific player, always has been.
Well, he signed through 2018 with a team option for 2019.
And that's going to be somewhat problematic for them, because when you look at his numbers, he compares with just about any offensive player, and then factor in the Gold Glove aspect. So they're going to have to pay him a lot of money. And the question is, with the contracted
Zinke, how are you going to pay him the money?
It's really tough to be able to afford both Lamb, who's going to be up after this year, and Goldschmidt. I mean, they've got to be able to keep the heart of this team together. And now that Mike Hazen, who came over, he's a new GM. He was with the Boston Red Sox and Cleveland before that. He shored up the bullpen. He completely revamped the bullpen. And now, as bad as they were last year, that's how good they've been in the early going. And Goldschmidt is a big part of that. You lose him, even with a good bullpen, how can they help you for the team?
Well, all Sox fans know, they've heard it for a lot of years now. It's a battle of bullpens. And that's what Kenny and Rick. Kenny had that knack of being able to shore up a bullpen, have good bullpens. And now the two of them working in tandem, Rick Hahn and Kenny. Last year in April, we had the best bullpen in Major League Baseball at 1.6 ERA. This year in April, we were 1.69. Last year, we had 2 guys go down. And then this year, we've had 3 guys go down. And when you do that, it's just like the Angels. That bullpen they got, I don't care how good their starters are. I don't care how good your offense is. That bullpen Angels got, they're going to have some problems.
Yeah, they're going to have that.
So Hazen did, to respond to your comment about Hazen, what's his first name, Mike?
Mike Hazen.
Yeah. He did the job. That's what the first thing you got to do as the GM. Come in, you got to make sure you give your manager a good bullpen. And preferably give him one, as you and I have talked about Dayton Moore so often, setting the model, so to speak, in modern day, giving Ned Yost the bullpen he could manage a 6-inning game.
It really helps to have two quality right and left-handed setup man to go with your closer, whatever he happens to be. But
well, in the real world, Stoney, in the real world, if you could map it out where you can, now, as I said, Terry Francona's got 8 guys in his bullpen. I mean, that's unheard of.
Well, a lot of guys now that they're carrying 13-man staff, and a lot of guys are going with 13 men. You got 8 relievers.
But all things being equal, if you could have all 5 pitchers in the bullpen about equal, except for maybe a closer a little better. The ideal setup for that is 2 right-handers and 3 left-handers.
You can do that.
That's the perfect world. That's why Piniella won all those games in 2001, where they won 113 games and 12 games. He had those 3 left-handers out there in that bullpen. Chris Owings went out to center field.
Owings has been just about as hot as anybody on this team.
Well, he's thrown 2 strikes in this sequence and counts 3-1. Grieke's a while ago, that one hitter had no strikes and the count was 1-2. There's the difference right there on the 3-1 swing versus the 2-2 swing.
Then you got to air it out. I mean, you got everything going for you, and if you get a fastball, you're going to leave nothing to the imagination. And Owings fouled it straight back. So this is a guy that can play just about anywhere. Doesn't have the glove at shortstop of Nick Ahmed, but Ahmed doesn't have close to the bat that Owings has.
Ahmed, they tell me, is something I've seen.
He's only made 3 errors all year. He can really pick it. He's just about hands-wise as good as anybody around, but he's always had trouble swinging it.
So there's the first walk of the game issued by McGill. First time anybody has had 2 men in an inning, and it is Descalso.
He's hit some big home runs for him. In fact, he won a ball game late with a home run into the pool here, Chase Field.
That ball hit hard. And it is 3-0 D-backs.
Fourth home run of the year. Driven in 12, our 4th home run replay. It's a no-doubter. It's a rolling breaking ball, doesn't do much. And Descalso, who has not hit for average, but he's got some meaningful hits. He's just taken one out and given Zach Greinke and the Diamondbacks the lead.
Well, he got a cookie and he missed it. That's the 63rd home run hit by the D-backs. We've hit 46.
This offense has a lot of power and they've got a lot of speed.
Fuentes with that strikeout his first trip. As I mentioned earlier, they were 18-8 here in this ball.
Rolling breaking ball. It's one thing to get a hanger. It's another thing to hit a hanger. And he got one and he hit it.
Well, when you get a hanger, they're a lot easier to hit than most pitches. A lot easier. Three and one to count. It's full. Oh, 1-1 for us. 3-0 for them. And there's a line shot. It's going to hang up. That's a hang woofum. Far for Fuentes, but the 3-run homer. And it is 3-0 bad guys. Occasion, our host clients in the newest suite at Guaranteed Rate Field. Suite 134 is, well, host up to 25 people and is conveniently located along the main concourse. Experience the game from this unique new perspective. So for more information, visit whitesox.com/group or call 312-674-1000 and do it today. We only have one hit. Todd 0 for 1, grounded out to his counterpart, Jake Lamb. Gap out there in right center. Now 4 for 23 lifetime off Greinke with a homer. And to count 2-1.
One thing to throw off-speed pitches when you're ahead of hitters, because a lot of pitchers do that. The real good pitchers like Greinke throw a lot of off-speed pitches behind hitters. He's thrown an off-speed pitch 59% of the time when he's behind the hitter. If you can do that when they're looking fastball, you're probably going to be pretty successful.
Jacks it up, good check, and counts 3 and well. when I first came into baseball. 2-0-3-1.
All fastballs.
Here it
Yeah.
comes. The guy who was one of the definitive leaders in turning that thing around was Catfish Hunter.
We'll factor pinpoint control in with
And
the
didn't have
ability to throw
overpowering
it.
stuff.
No.
High pop up right side. One out. Yeah, 2-0-3-1, 3-2. Here it is. Hit it. See what you can do with it.
One of the things that Torey Lovullo, who came over from Boston and was, well, an emergency manager when Farrell took some time away from the game, what he did was he tried to impart to his pitchers 21 outs. I think 21 outs. So he's not asking them for a complete game. He's asking them to get them through 7. And don't be looking in the bullpen. That was one of the biggest changes they made with Chip Hale. First sign of trouble, he'd get somebody up. Lovullo refused to do that, and his pitchers got the feeling that they could get in some trouble, but they were staying in the game, and that's what he wanted to do.
Well, if you recall Larry Durker when he took over that Houston staff.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what he did. He told them, you're not coming out of the game, so you got to get out of your own trouble.
That's what Nolan Ryan did when he took over down in Texas with the Rangers. There's no more 5 and fly, guys.
That's it. Worked out pretty well.
I guess. That ball hit high and deep. He looks up on the thing. You can put it on the board. Yes. Yes. And it's a 3-1 ball game.
5th home run, 15th driven in. And that also is a 5th straight game that Greinke has given up at least 1 home run. Ford home run replay. He throws him a curveball. This was inside off the plate. Leary just went down and took it out of a very lively Chase Field. The roof open, the ball just flies out of here.
There's Anderson. It's one of the few times that he has tried to throw a curveball for a strike.
Yeah, that one also came rolling in, and Leary took advantage of it. So it's a 2-run game.
Zach, when he was younger, was one of the few guys that could have right-handers, I should say, that could have a good curveball and a pretty good slider in the same outing.
He can do that now. But little velocity off.
That's right.
as opposed to what it was before. Tim not really happy with John Tumpane. This one could have gone either way. It's a fastball.
Catcher,
and
Narvaez.
it had a little piece of the plate, but Tim thought it was too low.
Well, Greinke, let's put it this way. Greinke has gotten a lot of close pitches in this game.
Well, he's been around the plate with everything, and you will have a tendency to get some pitches when you're throwing all strikes.
He's gotten a lot. Borderline pitches, most of them have gone his way.
Well, look, an umpire is going to have a different strike zone depending on what he calls, and Tumpane is calling the ball down. That's just what he's doing. And usually you don't see this many low pitches called strikes, but if that's going to be his strike zone, then the hitter's going to have to adjust to it.
My point is that Gonzalez is not getting that pitch. Really chopping. But the home run is 5th by Leary. Garcia. It's a 3-1 ball game. Our club just plodding away, hanging in there, and still we aren't even close to having a full complement of our players.
Not to mention, because of the schedule,
right?
When we come back the 4th week in June, we will have played 44 road games and 28 home games, and because you're playing 81 and 81, the schedule favors the Sox in the second half.
And when you don't have 3 of your big members of that bullpen out there, and you don't have Carlos Rodon, then, and plus, well, let's put it this way. Everything's going in the right direction.
There's no question.
Everything is going in the right direction.
And what really helps also is that you have a division where everybody says, look, Cleveland's going to run away and hide. Well, here's the thing. They're not running away and they're not hiding. They lost again in today's ball game against Cincinnati. So they're 23-20. And as long as they don't put together a long winning streak with Kluber disabled, he's just starting his rehab, Encarnacion not hitting the way he can, the Indians are playing good baseball, not great baseball, and the division is just hanging there.
Well, their starters are not pitching the way they can. As you mentioned, Kluber coming back.
With Kluber going down, that you lose your number 1, that hurts.
Mathis. He gone.
We'll take another look. Miguel. That one's high. Top part of the zone. It had a little piece of the plate. Omar shows you that he thought it was a little high. With the benefit of the call, and Mathis going down on strikes for the 2nd time tonight.
So here's Greinke. He grounded out to second. Yeah, rookies, boys, they are. This whole thing is headed in the right direction.
If you're going to sit down and try to map out just exactly what you need to have a good year, not necessarily a year where you're going to dominate the division, but a good year, you got to have career years out of 3 of your guys. That's number 1. Number 2, you got to have a couple of surprises that you didn't count on in spring training coming through. And then you have to have a couple of pitchers have enchanted years both in the rotation and especially out of that bullpen. That's really the recipe for having a very good season.
There's a strike and the count's 3-1. Well, the parity, we talk about all the good young talent, certainly the most I've ever seen. 57 years in this game. The parity is better than any I've ever seen. I mean, you got a lot of clubs. The ball hit hard. Nice play. Long throw in time. And that's 2 out. But yeah, if Cleveland's healthy, they're going to win. They're going to win this division if they're healthy. That bullpen.
I was going to say, nobody's going to touch the bullpen. No. So Terry sits, he looks. If you can play head up, a run or 2 ahead, you just turn over the bullpen, nobody hits him, and you win the game.
You wrap it up and send it to Cooperstown. Yeah. So here is Blanco at that infield single. And he's going out to center field. Takes a strike. There's an old saying in baseball, it's so true. One of the things that still hold to be true. A lot of them are going by the board. That's why you got to play.
Well, there's no doubt, and
that's why you got to play.
Both Rick Hahn and Ricky Renteria talked before the game. One of the things that Rick Hahn said, which really has held up this season, is that the team has expressed the plan going forward is a rebuild. But you can't tell the players don't play hard, don't go out to win each and every day. And this team has responded to Ricky Renteria and the way he handles them by playing good, solid baseball. They don't want to hear about a rebuild because they just know there's a game to be played. There's no reason why they shouldn't win it, and they're playing that way.
How many times we talked about it? There's really not what you call the definitive leader on our ball club. And almost 100% of the time, if you don't have a definitive leader on that ball club will take the personality of the manager. And they have taken Ricky's personality with the energy. I talked with 4 scouts down in the food room before the game. They all said the same thing, echoed the same thing. Man, that club is busting it. They are playing their behinds off.
And if they don't, there's not going to be a lot of noise coming from the skipper. What there is going to be is a lack of playing time for you.
Well, there's going to be a Fanny sitting on the bench.
Yeah, and that's the way it should be, because you have control over hustle. That's the one thing in this game you have control over each and every day. You don't do it, well, you're not going to play quite as much.
Peralta? No, that in all my years that's been a constant. If you don't have, it's like in 05. Ozzie really took over the leadership of that ball club, and that's why we won a world championship.
Blanco can run.
There's a strike.
Backdoor slider that was in the neighborhood. I think Blanco was trying to measure Miguel and see if he can get a lead.
Yeah, it did. Looked like that. Yeah, those scouts were very, very complimentary about, and Socia was when we talked to her after that series there. Very complimentary about the way our guys, you can feel it, Steve. When you walk into a ballpark on the road, you can feel it. Or at home. It's actually, I usually call it, it's probably the most tangible of all the intangibles in the game of baseball. But you can actually feel the attitude of the other club.
I know in spring training, one of the things that was amazing to me is that this collection of guys, and there was a lot of additions to the team from last year to this, but this collection of guys in spring training had a confidence that was somewhat surprising after a down year last year. And yet the team in the spring felt that they could win some ball games, a lot of ball games, and I still believe they feel the same way.
They do. I could see it on my iPad, sitting on my behind down in Florida.
Yeah, they hustled. They did a lot of things right in the spring, but it was the confidence of the team that had been reassembled that was somewhat surprising, and they've carried it over into the season.
The 1-2 pitch. High into right center field. And that'll do it. We'll go to the 6th. We trail it 3-1.
news and more, subscribe to White Sox Talk podcast presented by Wintrust. New episodes are available every Tuesday on Apple Podcasts or the Google Play Store.
So here is Miguel. Tried to bunt his first time. Didn't quite get the job done. Takes ball one. One and one to count. Good rip. Where'd that come from?
Got a fastball down the middle and took a good solid cut. Got the one pitch pitchers can hit. Straight fastball, middle of the plate.
Oops. And Sox fans, join us as we welcome back White Sox greats on homecoming weekend, Friday, May 26th to Sunday, May 28th, when our Sox battle the Tigers. Now, homecoming weekend is presented by the Village of Bedford Park. So bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. To get your tickets, visit whitesox.com. Here's Yolmer. Takes strike one. We're 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Very unusual for him. Boy, he threw some leather up there in Seattle. Wow.
I heard overall it was a very good defensive series.
It was. It was. This is game one of this 3-game set tomorrow. That game will be over WGN. It'll be Dylan Covey against Southpaw Patrick Corbin in the finale of this series and this road trip. Jose Quintana against Taijuan Walker. That's the bunt.
Actually, Taijuan Walker is not going to be able to pitch. They just disabled him with a blister.
Good.
So it's another. Yeah, he's got really good stuff.
Good.
He was 4-3, and throwing in the mid-90s with a slider like he has, he goes on the DL with the blister. So we're going to miss him, and they don't know to this point who's going to run out there on the finale on Wednesday afternoon.
Taijuan Walker can beat you. He can beat you.
That was a good trade for them. Gene Segura going to Seattle. Walker coming back here.
That's blown away.
And I think they did a really good job on the Segura thing. Gene Segura had maybe arguably the best year of his career. So instead of playing him and retarding the growth of one of their young shortstops, they moved him along and got a quality pitcher for him. You trade him off his best year, and they were able to do that.
That's in the center field. That is a can of corn. So 2 down. Well, it's that old philosophy.
Left fielder, Malfi Cabrera.
You're better off trading him a year too early than a year too late.
Well, I think it was a terrific move. They needed somebody to back up Greinke in the rotation. Walker
Well, it was a good move for DePoto, too.
Well, yeah, because Segura coming off a big year, he can play.
203 hits. Hit that 3-run home run against us in the first game up there. 1-0 the count to Cabrera. Another unusual thing for him to have 2 straight strikeouts. That's on the left field. And that'll retire the side. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th, trailing 3-1.
And we'll concentrate on Ronaldo Lopez, who's been terrific. 6 innings, just 3 hits, got a no decision in that one. And Nicky Delmonico went 2 for 6 with a couple of home runs and 4 driven in. Nicky is really scalding the baseball. So that is the farm report. Things looking pretty good down on the farm. And we'll keep you apprised of developments throughout the season.
So here's Goldschmidt. We've been talking about Nicky. You know, he's been one of the guys that his name hasn't been mentioned that much, but as we said, keep an eye on him. He's got a chance.
He showed in the spring he can hit the baseball.
I like watching him because he looked like he had an edge. I love guys who have an edge. And by that I mean they're a little feisty. That's out of play. Give me those guys that are feisty.
This is a big inning for Miguel because he's got the heart of the order. It's not going to be easy. With Goldschmidt, Lamb, and Owings, if anybody gets on, the man who is a difference maker in this game, Daniel Descalso.
Yeah, you don't have to be vocal to have an edge, or break bats or throw helmets or anything to have an edge. It's got to be inside. It's got to be inside you. Get foul. It will.
That ball slicing down the line stayed fair a long time with Ted Barrett on the call. And at the last instant, it went on the right side of the line, both figuratively and literally. There is a new skipper. Torey Lovullo came out of the Boston organization by way of the Cleveland organization.
Uh-oh.
We told you it was going to be a tough inning, and that's the start of it. That's the 11th home run, 35th driven in, second home run of the night, and on a very lively night in the desert, Diamondbacks take a 3-run lead. Forward home run replay, and now you start to think about wishing that ball had stayed fair down the right field line. Would have been a 2-base hit. Instead, it's a 4-base hit.
So it's a 4-1 game. 4-5-0 for them, 2-1 for us. Out of play. A lot of Sox fans out here. Christina Gonzalez, David Guzman, brother and sister, lifelong Sox fans. Family and friends watching back home in Chicago. So that's 1-2.
Another big Sox fan watching the ball game with his Sox cap, Eric Sloan. New to the bandwagon, but he's on it.
Nice to see Don Carson.
It was nice. You know what's amazing, and I respect him greatly for this. He had some hip difficulties. They told him to lose some weight. He's lost 100 pounds and kept every pound of it off. Probably for the last 8-9 years.
That's trouble. He's going to make the turn. Good throw, but not in time. That's his second triple.
Lamb's got some pretty decent speed for a very big man, and he is that. And he drove this ball into the gap and then kept on going. The play was in front of him. He thought that he was going to be able to beat the throw, and he was able to do just that. So he's hustling out of the box the only way you can get a triple. Then he beats the relay throw into third. Beck and Jennings loosening in the pen.
Infield in. Owings, Chris has walked, scored. He also has gone out to center field. Yeah, but with as good a food as Carson has at his restaurant, it's hard to keep from gaining weight.
Don and Charlie's been one of the real success stories down here for 30+ years. And Don just does a great job along with Rich Melman, co-owners of that fine restaurant.
Don and Bob Uecker, very, very close friends.
They are indeed. Don told me something about Uecker that was one of the great lines I've heard about someone capturing the essence of their being. And he said, if Bob never met another person in his life, he would be happy. He told me that he had met enough people in his life, so he just wants to go with the people he's met to this point, and that was it. He wants to play golf, he wants to fish, and he wants to call baseball games, and that's what Bob Uecker wants to do.
Well, you know, when you get older, but you're not there yet, but when you get older, what you do is when you meet somebody new, you got to take somebody out.
You only have so much room?
Yeah. There's only so much room up there. You meet them, okay, you plug them in, and then you plug somebody else out. Give it to him.
That was just a bit of a brain cramp by Miguel because Jose did everything he could do. It goes as a base hit. There is a ringing endorsement for a team error because he essentially retired him but didn't retire him, and that for a veteran pitcher, that's really unusual. It's probably going to be the last pitch Miguel is going to throw. He's very late getting off the bag, and Owings hustling, leaving them a double short of the cycle in just 3 hitters. And that is going to be it. Miguel is going to depart.
Well, you said it. It's going to be a tough inning for him facing here in the bottom of the 6th, facing the middle of that lineup. And certainly it was with the home run, the triple, and then the brain cramp. So he departs, and we'll be back.
1 this year. His ERA a touch over 5 on for the 21st time, and he inherits a problem. He's got runners at the corners, nobody out. It's a 4-1 game. You can ill afford the way Greinke is throwing to give them more runs. So it's a lefty-lefty matchup as Descalso, who homered in the 4th to put up the first 3 of these Diamondback runs, will get another opportunity.
That 3-run homer, he got a cookie. He did not miss it.
It's a rolling curveball that just rolled its way on out of here.
Outfield, they're shallow in center and left. Big gap in right center. And the count 2-0.
That's been one of the things lately that Dan has had some problems with, and that's spotting the breaking ball to the left-hand hitters. He's walked 8 in 14 1/3. It's too many walks in a very short period of time.
And the count 3-0. Well, with all the information these guys have available to them, every hitter in that white uniform tonight should know that.
Yeah, that's true.
That can make a whole lot of difference in your approach. That'll load him up.
Not exactly what Ricky had in mind, but now you got to force at the plate. And here comes Don Cooper. Do you think some of these guys are at the point where they might have too much information presented to them?
You're asking a question that you already know.
Well, I mean,
so yes, you know.
But
there's no question about it.
Different players have, you know, some guys can absorb a great deal of information and then turn it around and apply it. Other guys, it confuses them.
There's no question about it. These guys, and especially, I want to tell you, especially Latin players, they play a different game of baseball down in the islands than we play here in the United States as youngsters.
Well, they pretty much swing it. If it stays in the park, you're swinging,
that's
and
it.
then you're running, and that's pretty much it.
And they have a tremendous amount of fun playing down there. There are a lot of guys who are good players here in the United States that don't have that much fun because of all the information they're getting. Sox pack. Well, you know, I'm a big proponent of a person, and in our history, some of our greatest leaders have done this. A lot of them have not, but some have. They've retained their childlike qualities.
Well,
and
you
that's
just want to have some fun in this game.
Well, it's. Wimpy said it the other day, and it's a good way to put it too. All right, get the force, and he drops the ball. Bad throw. That'll be an error on the throw. So there's a mistake.
Well, Tim didn't get anything on the throw. He wanted to flip it home instead of just making a good solid throw to the plate. You got to get one before you worry about two, and it was that underhand or sidearm flip, little easy flip, and it can't stay in the glove. Fielder's choice E6. That's the 10th error for Tim Anderson, and it'll keep him loaded. But now it's a 5-1 game.
Yeah. That now somebody has gotten on the umpire. They want some. Oh, they want a challenge. But baseball's a game. You know, you play baseball, you don't work at baseball. You play baseball, and that's why we're seeing so many great young Latin players come into this league, because they come in here and a lot of them just get inundated with numbers and information. I've had guys, I don't know about you, but I've had Latin players in the last few years come up just flat out tell me, Hawk, too much information. Too much information. You know, and when you do that, the more information you get, the less your childlike qualities are there for you, and the less fun you have.
Well, I think, to me, that's always been the case. It doesn't matter whether it's this game or anything that you do in life. If you have fun at it, most likely you will be good at it.
Yes.
If you're not having fun, and you've always said this, pressure is the biggest killer of performance. So when you're not having fun, it just seems to me that the pressure builds up to a point where you're not able to deal with it or make it work for you, so it works against you.
That's the only thing that I want my grandchildren to do, because both of them love to play. And I told Krista and Chet, both their parents, they asked me about, what do you think about this, you know, Nico swing or Alexander swing? I said, don't worry about it. Let them have fun. Just make sure that they have fun playing the game, because when it gets to the point, as we take another look at this play here. Now, does he have control of it?
Well, right now, in there, it doesn't look like he has control of it. It looks like he's smothering it against the ground, and he hadn't gotten to the point where he secured it and brought the glove up. So it's really close, and this could fall into the category of one of those plays where, because there's no definitive proof, because the glove was turned the other way, what was called on the field will stand. But we'll have to wait and see if they have a different angle where they can see him secure the baseball in New York. They're about ready to resolve this as Ted Barrett ready to take off the headset. And
that's what it looked like.
Yeah,
he did not have control.
Where the glove was, very difficult to tell, and so the call will stand, the air will stand, and the problems with the bases loaded and nobody out will stand. So that's going to be it for Dan Jennings. He will depart, and as he walks off, so will we.
While enjoying a breathtaking view of Guaranteed Rate Field from the Huntington Bank Stadium Club. Now, memberships are available to season ticket holders and open before, during, and after every home game. Now, the Huntington Bank Stadium Club is also perfect for non-game day events, including weddings and corporate parties. So for more information regarding the Huntington Bank Stadium Club, call 312-674-1000. And Mark Zucker and all his crew, Fort Reedy, they do a first-rate job.
Hyundai call to the pen is Chris Beck. He comes on for the 9th time. ERA a little above 4. And he inherits the bases loaded with the infield in at all 4 positions.
Mathis can't get it.
One of the things we will bear in mind, and it probably is not going to play out here, but when Mathis was with the Angels, like Scioscia, on many occasions would have him lay down a bunt in a situation that would get him a run. But with the force out at the plate, it's not quite as likely to do that here.
I've always said that a manager cannot have total control of his ball club unless everybody on the team will bunt.
Scioscia had that with the Angels for a long time.
You better believe it.
The configuration of the team now a little different than it was, but
yeah,
it was like that for a long time.
No, even La Russa. I saw 2 consecutive games when he was managing the Cardinals. I saw Jim Edmonds bunt, and I saw Albert Pujols bunt.
They would do that not often, but they could both do it.
One, two. You know, on the other side of that page, you can't ask somebody to do something they can't do. So you, as a manager, have to know, can he bunt or can he bunt? Just can't be a flip a coin deal. Punch him out right here, Chris. Don't have to be pinpoint. Full count.
Zach Greinke 0 for 2, but he's hit the ball hard twice.
Payoff pitch. 5-7-0 for them. 1-2-2 for us. Frazier making sure he made a good throw with the angle he had. So 2 down.
It's the 10th double play since Saturday. Now makes a good solid throw, and then Omar has to get an angle. He got a good angle, and Jose did a nice job of leaning out into fair territory to give him a target.
Yeah, we turned 2 yesterday in Seattle. 2 on Saturday. Check that, 4 yesterday and 4 on Saturday. So here's Greinke.
The Uri is shallow in center field and swung around toward right center. Huge gap in left center.
Greinke can be very dangerous at the plate. Checks it up, and he's got a 2-0 count.
Very comfortable night by the pool. The roof is open.
There's a strike. Ducks on the pond, 2 down, 2 in. That evens the count. Ground ball. Good job by Chris Beck. They do come up with a pair, and they lead it 5-1.
Wisconsin, who reminds you to have some fun. Plan your trip today at travelwisconsin.com, and 2 more here with the Diamondbacks. Then it's back home for a 4-game series with the Tigers, featuring that doubleheader on Friday. That's going to make up one of the rainouts this year, so that is the upcoming schedule. And the boys will be very happy to get off the road. That's a relatively short homestand again before going on the road for an extended road trip.
Well, it's time to make a change right here. I mean, you know, if you look at the numbers, we've scored 1 run. That was a home run by Yuri Garcia. And, of course, with that home run, the Alex Nelius family, another nice donation to White Sox Charities and Loving Memory Versal. 1 run on 2 hits. He's walked nobody. 9 strikeouts. So it's time to make an adjustment. And by that, I mean, you got to look middle out on this guy. I mean, you have got maybe back off the plate a little bit and look middle out. Because if you go up there looking for the ball off Greinke, he's already proven he's going to put the bat where it shouldn't be put.
Yeah, also, I mean, if you're throwing strike 1 and he's doing that most of the time, you might as well go up there and hit the first pitch, especially get a first ball fastball.
The better the pitcher, the quicker you better get him. One thing about Abreu, though, he is busting it down that line. Even though he thought he might smell a hit there, he's doing it on a regular ground ball.
There's no doubt about it, and that you have to respect. He's doing everything he can. Owings makes a great play, 360 spin up the middle, and throws it right on the button to nail him.
You know, getting back to the having fun part of this game. Last year and this year, I've seen a lot of my grandson's games. And one of the reasons I go out there is to see the coaching. I don't talk to the coaches, but I just want to see how they're handling the kids. Are they encouraging the kids? Are they after them? Are they yelling at them? It's amazing to see how many of the coaches that I've seen. Ours don't, thank goodness, because if that's the case, then I'd have to have some words with them. But they are the ones in the teams that my grandsons play on. The coaches are trying to encourage them. If they strike out, hey, okay, we'll get them next time. You know, if you get a base hit, great. You know, but they're not yelling and screaming. I was amazed at how many coaches yell and scream at kids. And if that's the case, it's not going to be long before they quit because they're not having fun.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about it. Because you can deal with encouragement regardless of how you do.
Right.
That was simply, Hawk, that was the greatest thing. My parents, who were very supportive, the greatest thing that they did for me, they had belief in me even at times when I didn't have belief in myself. And I think that's the key for parents, regardless of what their children do in life. Believe in them, encourage them, and things will work out pretty well for everybody.
Well, that's a good way to frame it. Even when you're not doing well and you didn't have courage and belief in yourself, you knew they did.
I remember my dad telling me one thing which was interesting. He said, "You're going to be the best pitcher to ever come out of South Euclid-Lyndhurst." And I said, "Well, wait a second. There's Bill Byrne. There's Roy Shapiro." He said, "Nope, you're going to be better than all of them." Well, I'm not sure if he truly believed that, but by telling me that, he put it in my mind. And once something is recorded, you always have it. And it was that type of encouragement that certainly helped me. And I think for the parents of very youngsters coming up, male or female, doesn't really matter. Encourage them, and they will find their passion.
Well, I get letters, a lot of letters every year from fathers. Hawk, my son's afraid of the ball. He's afraid when he goes up to play getting hit. How can I? Well, he's got to impart upon him is that major leaguers have fear at the plate. So they have fear at the plate.
So after you tell him to take up golf, where it's very hard to get hit by the ball, then what's your second piece of advice?
And I just tell him, because there he gets him. That's strikeout number 10. But I tell them that they've got it because children and kids see, even in high school and college, they see major leaguers and they think major leaguers are fearless. That is not the case. Major leaguers have fear. They just found a way to compensate for it. And that's what the youngsters have to do. But they have to be told, hey, major leaguers have fear too, son, but this is what we're going to do. Hey, son, major leaguers have fear, but this is what we're going to do. Keep telling them that. Let them reinforce, know that they're not alone. Because a lot of these kids think they're the only ones that are afraid at the plate. I can't name you 5 guys and all the thousands and thousands of players I've seen and played with. I can't name you 5 guys in my whole career that were totally fearless at the plate. I never saw Ty Cobb. They tell me he was fearless. But
I was going to say that. You have a good relationship with Ted Lyons?
I know when people ask me about that, the first guy that pops in my mind that I can tell you was absolutely fearless to play was Tony Conigliaro.
It really cost him.
Yeah, it did. Watch out, watch out.
Well, the ball hit Mathis, and the bat went past Owings at shortstop. You don't see that very often. So here's the start. It's a changeup. Gets it off the right shoulder, and the bat goes into the outfield.
Two and two the count. just got a text here. I said, Hawk, did you have fear at the plate? I did. But the way I compensated for it, I wasn't afraid of who was throwing. So that was a wash.
I was going to say, you got to use something that works for you, and it doesn't work for everybody. Different things. You obviously figure out a way for you to overcome that.
Right.
And all players have different ways to overcome it.
Like a fingerprint. And there is the first walk issued by Greinke.
Center fielder.
Well, he's really done it with a minimum of pitches. He's only given up a couple of hits. That's the first walk, 10 strikeouts, and still only 85 pitches, and we're 2 outs into the 7th inning. That is efficient.
So here is little Uri. Chopper 2 hopper. 7th inning stretch. We got some work to do off a guy who's on top of his game tonight. Ever. So you can watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. So visit MLB.tv for details.
A new pitcher in the ball game, and it is David Holmberg. I'm a member of these Diamondbacks. ERA 1.23, on for the 7th time. There you look at the numbers. Been pretty good. The bottom of the 7th, he starts with the top of the order, and it's a necessity to hold him right there at a 4-run deficit because their bullpen has been good. Fernando Rodney's their closer, but Greinke is all world tonight.
He's been around the plate all night, and he's received a lot of very, very close pitches from the home plate umpire, Jonathan Paynes, who really, as you framed it, John really hadn't called a bad game. He's just given him a lot of close pitches because he's been around the plate all night.
And he's calling a lower strike, but again, he started out calling a low strike. He's still calling it.
One and one to count. Gregor Blanco, 2 for 3. That's in the center field. Back near the track. 1 out.
A lot of room out to the 413 side. And even though it is a desert, even though the ball travels further, that's still a long way just left of center.
There's Peralta.
Normally, Peralta's not going to start against a left-handed starter, but there's no reason to change things now.
2 down.
It's a good play on both ends. Holmberg getting over there, and Jose going toward the line with the flip.
First baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
So here's Goldschmidt. Lined out hard to the shortstop Anderson in the first inning. Hit a soft single in the left in the fourth. Then he hit a home run leading off last inning. Now got 11 homers and 35 driven in.
After fouling the ball down the line, which would have been a 2-base hit, he hit it out of the park.
Had a good pitch, had him out in front on that one. Nice quick inning for Holmberg, and we're into the 8th. We need 4 to tie.
At eClickLending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland and is rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom! Your mortgage just happened.
We need some tallies.
This has just put a little pressure on Greinke and Forrest Lavulo to go into that bullpen. One of the guys that's been a revelation out of the bullpen is Archie Bradley, former #1 pick of these Diamondbacks, who has now found a new life out of the bullpen. 1.37 ERA. They still view him as a potential starter, but for the meantime, he is dominated out of the Diamondback pen.
Well, you said last inning what was one of the ways to put a little pressure on Greinke is if he throws first ball fastball.
Yeah.
Got to get him off that where he starts throwing first ball breaking ball, because if he throws first ball breaking ball for a strike, you're not going to swing or do anything with it anyway. So you got to eliminate it. And the count very quickly 0-2.
Yeah, the problem is now when he is ahead of a guy who is a frequent swinger of the bat, as Tim Anderson is, it gives him a whole world of options with that slider.
Well, his strike zone right now, you'd have to see it to believe it, how big it is. Greinke'd have to make a huge mistake here in order for Tim to hit it hard.
Well, he shook off the fastball to both sides of the plate and then shook off a curveball. So perhaps Zach Greinke thinking about that slider. Let's see if Mathis is thinking with it.
Well, he put down the #2. and throws the fastball. You know, this is what we talk about. You don't. If you're thinking mechanics against Greinke, you're 0 for 4. Unless you get a little broken bat flare, a little Kansas City special. The only thing you can, the better the pitcher, the more the plate you got to concede, and the more you got to have a plan that you are dangerous against him. Not you're going to go up there and try to hit him. You're going to go up there and try to be dangerous and let that take care of everything else. You just can't be thinking from the plate back. If you're thinking from the plate back against this guy, forget it.
There's an example of what he does. Gets ahead, buries a slider, and unfortunately, that's 3 strikeouts for Tim. So he got ahead. Tim took the first ball fastball, and then he got to the point where the wipeout slider was forthcoming. Nice block by Mathis, and that's that.
Well, most of the guys, when they walk up there against a good major league pitcher, most of them are a 7-1 favorite to fail. Now the guys who are only a 7.5 to 1 favorite to fail, well, they're in Cooperstown. That's how fine it is against facing good major league pitchers. And that is into center field. So Arias picks up his second hit.
He's got 2 of the 3.
Well, you said it earlier, though, it was a good observation on your part about hitting. Being a pitcher is a fact. He's about as good as anybody on the team at keeping his hands back.
When you see that, when you're on the mound and you see a guy that is not moving his hands, you know you have some problems, especially with the off-speed pitch. And Omar has shown that. So now Matt Davidson, the former Diamondback, getting an opportunity to hit against his former organization.
Well, I like the way Matt's progressing. He's the one of the guys. He doesn't have to worry about his mechanics. His mechanics are good. What he has to worry about now and work on now is approach, not mechanics.
Approach and opportunity.
Well, that's true.
I mean,
you can't work on your approach unless you get the opportunity.
He's gonna eventually get it, and you have to like what you've seen, because it's the first time where he's probably showing himself that he belongs here and can not only compete here but do a good job of it.
Yeah, that mirror is telling him each and every day, hey, he likes what it sees. That ball hit sharply down, but they're going to turn it. So Greinke making a good pitch. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th, trailing 5-1.
Nice inning by David Holmberg. Nice job by Chris Beck. And so Michael Anoa on for the 13th time. He's 1-0. His ERA 3.25. He's been pretty good out of the pen.
I'll tell you, Holmberg has been impressive since coming up.
He really has. And you know,
I never heard of him before we brought him up here.
Well, you were talking with Bob Brenly, and I talked with him before the game. He said when Holmberg was a member of the Diamondbacks, he went down, watched the side, and thought, boy, this guy's really got a chance. Now, things didn't work out for him, but how many pitchers have you seen? Their second, their third, sometimes their fourth organization. They finally figure it out. And for a situational left-hander, he's done a nice job.
Well, a lot of times, Kurt Hassler in this case, the bullpen coach, or Don Cooper, are starters. Maybe they say the same thing other people will tell them, but they say it and they frame it in a different manner.
Well, it's happened too many times to just be coincidence, where guys who have struggled other places or had success and then fallen on hard times come to the Sox. Don Cooper talks with them, in this case Kurt Hassler, now out of the bullpen, and the guys just get better.
Yeah, it's not just by coincidence.
No, it happened too many times, too many quality starts, more than anybody else in the major leagues over the last 8 or 9 years or so.
Well, this game tonight so far, our guys still think they can come back in this game. That's what I like. That's what I really like. That's the feeling you have to have. And then once it's over, if he gets us 1, 2, 3 in the ninth, at that point, Todd Stevenson or whoever, he's going to let these guys. Ted Williams said it. He said there are going to be times you come to the game, you step in that box, and that guy 60 feet 6 inches away is going to be better than you are that night, and that's been the case tonight.
No, Greinke's just been terrific since he threw the first pitch. Nothing has changed. Control's been brilliant, and he's just dominated the hitters.
All right, there is the walk to Lamb. So a reminder, provide your guests with the ultimate all-inclusive White Sox experience and guaranteed rate club on Magellan Scout seats. Now, these 2 premium seating areas are the best way to entertain your most important clients, employees, friends, or family, and are available for season ticket packages or individual games. So for more information, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com/premium seating. Well, Boaz and his crew will take care of you. Outfield straight up, spread out. There is a strike and a count 1-1. $18,333. On a Monday night here in Phoenix. They're averaging 23,178.
We're going to see some pretty good crowds. We'll see. Wednesday is not going to be one of them, however. Day game, getaway day. Really put about 12,000 here.
High pop up right side. Watch out. Braille, who is very good on pop-ups.
This is a very tough play. Easier play for Yolmer, but Jose calling for it. And the over-the-shoulder catch. That's one of the things he does as well as anybody in the game, and that is catching pop-ups, regardless of how far down the line, or in this case, at foul territory, he has to go.
He's good.
Yes, he is.
He's good on pop-ups. Descalso, 1 for 2, a 3-run homer back in the 4th inning. He got a high rolling curveball and just absolutely jumped all over. got a shift on for him. Big gap in right center. And there's first pitch strike. Taking some scores for you. Houston shuts out Detroit 1-0. Goose Bochy's Giants beat Joe Madden's Cubs 6-4. A couple of the better managers in the game. Two good ones right there, two keepers. Atlanta beat Pittsburgh 5-2. Angels beat Tampa Bay 3-2 in St. Pete. Cleveland was defeated by Cincinnati 5-1. One and two. Minnesota playing some good ball. They're 5 over. They're 23-18. They beat Baltimore 14-7. 14-21 hits.
That team can score some runs. They got some power. With Kenneth Vargas, when he plays against right-handers. Sano, who plays against everybody. Dozier, who plays against everybody. They can hit.
Well, the most poignant thing that I've seen anybody is he gone. 2 down. Any of the Twins say came from Joe Mauer the other day when he said, "We're catching the ball." That's the first rule in baseball.
Well, the outfield defense.
You got to catch the ball.
Outfield defense for them has been magnificent.
Buxton, they tell me, is running everything down. Doesn't make any difference where it is. He's going and getting it.
And Rosario's got a good arm. Kepler has a good arm, so they can all run. They can all throw out of that outfield, and things have gotten a whole lot better as the pitching staff, but especially the bullpen, has gotten better for them.
Well, everything is contagious, and when you're catching the ball, I remember a Boston Red Sox team had a 15.5 game lead going into the All-Star break, and they were playing in Cleveland. And their shortstop, Rick Burleson, went down, and after that, the defense fell apart, and the Yankees came back and caught them. And that was a good Red Sox team.
You talking about 78? Was that the 78 season?
78. They had a 15.5 game lead. And the reason they had that lead was everything was being caught. Everybody's talked about the Thunder, which they had some good hitting, but it was the defense. All right. He gone. And now they're gonna. No, I don't think they're. Yeah, they're gonna hold it. Lavulo says, just hold it a minute. So they don't appeal it, and we'll be back.
Miller Lite. Here's our Miller Moments, and it's the night of Zach Greinke, which has been overwhelming to this point. Doesn't matter if it was the fastball, the straight change, the slider. He just had it all and continues to mow him down.
And just every now and then, just to show him a curveball.
Not too often.
No. I don't think he threw 5.
Especially one winding up out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Didn't help him that much.
Yolmer takes the strike and the count evens at 1. Yolmer 0 for 3. Well, it's just been one of those games when if it stays like this, you just go in there, you take a shower, and say to yourself, we just got beat tonight, boys. It's just that simple. Great Ted Williams always said, until you can understand how to take an 0 for 4, you can never realize your potential.
There's going to be a few.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah. There'll be a few 0 for 4s tonight. But many more 0 for 3s.
Well, this is when you don't beat your head against the wall. A lot of guys went up there tonight. And in 3 at-bats, 4 at-bats, maybe only had 1 good pitch to hit.
There you look at some pretty impressive numbers. 3 hits in 8 innings. 1 and 11. Walks to strikeouts.
There was one.
Wednesday afternoon, the White Sox finish up the West Coast trip as they close out the series with the Diamondbacks. Coverage begins at 2 o'clock with the White Sox pregame live, or stream the game on the NBC Sports app or at csnchicago.com.
Cabrera 0 for 3, a couple strikeouts.
With 2 more outs, Zach Greinke will have his 2nd complete game of the year, and that is the 2nd on the Diamondbacks staff.
Well, our club's been swinging the bats pretty well tonight.
First baseman, Jose Abreu.
No chance.
No, they ran into one of baseball's best pitchers, as Greinke is a bona fide #1, and he was just better than the boys.
Here's Abreu. 0 for 3. Couple ground balls to short and a strikeout. Make it with 12 punch outs. There's a bullet. So he'll pick up his 9th 2-bagger.
He was a very good example of what Hawk always talks about, and that's hitting with short arms. Watch Abreu. Brought his hands in, took one low and inside. And Greinke will not complete this one.
Well, what he wants right here, not so much he wants Greinke to get acknowledged by the crowd.
Give him a chance for a standing O. He got that. And he'll go to the pen as Greinke walks out. We'll step out. Be back after these messages. throwing Archie Bradley, former #1 draft pick of these Diamondbacks in 2011. Now working exclusively out of the bullpen after starting last year. He's out for the 13th time. 27 strikeouts in 19 2/3. He is a fireballer who now throws even harder than he did by working out of the pen.
So here's Avi. Avi is grounded a short line hard to center and struck out. He's 0 for 3. Well, this is one of those games right here that I love what Torey Pavula just did. Let him be acknowledged by the fans. It draws you closer together. Now you can bet, because you can bet one thing. If it's a 1-0, 2-1 game, Zinke should still be out there. Meanwhile, this ball game is over. So it was just, we just got beat.
Now too much Zach Greinke and just enough offense. So Greinke wins his 6th, and we'll try to get him tomorrow night.
All right, so for my partner, Steve Stone, and our Hall of Fame director, Jim Angio, and our producer, Keon Dolashahi, and our associate producer, Dave Ross. No, it's not. It's Joe Groove. The mayor, Joe Groove. The executive producer, Jim Corno Jr., our technical manager, Mark Harper. And also for our beloved stage manager, Michelle Fonte Godwin. This is the Hall. So long, everybody, from Arizona. Coming up next is Subaru Postgame Live. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago.